Hello everyone, my name is Korosh Erfani. I am a sociologist and a political analyst. Today is Saturday, September 27th, 2025, and the subject that I am talking about in this presentation is about freedom. Freedom is something that we characterize the American democracy or any real democracy with, and as soon as there is no the real freedom in an institutional way established in a society, we cannot really talk about democracy, even though the political system of that country could be considered or known as democratic. So what is going on in the United States right now is something extremely worrisome, because we see on a daily basis how the freedom of speech, the freedom of protest, the freedom of gathering, the freedom of supervising the law enforcement and so on are completely denied. Not only denied, but violently denied. So the freedoms are oppressed more and more, and we must be attentive about that, because if it continues in this way, if it keeps going, at a given moment we won't have any more the real freedom as the civil rights of the American citizens here in the United States. In order to go over this question, I would like to use one of the concepts suggested by the German philosopher Hannah Arendt in her famous book Eichmann in Jerusalem. She suggests the idea of the banality of evil. So what's the idea? The idea is that what we consider as evil is not something substantially horrific, horrible, not really. Sometimes it becomes completely ordinary and routine, and then it becomes banal. And then we start not only to get used to that, but also to practice it. That's the case of Eichmann, for example, who said that all the crimes he was committing was something ordinary because it was the order from the above, and he didn't have anything but executing them, right? So the banalization of evil is something that we should be extremely attentive about. Otherwise, we lose the game of democracy, freedom, but also we lose even our humanity. So that's why I would like to draw your attention on what's going on here in the United States, and from this point of view of being aware about the importance of the subject, we can detect a kind of intention to killing freedom in the United States, to getting rid of freedom as a right. You can see that here in the statement of Ron Paul, who is saying that, look, people have a right to say things. Well, actually, they don't necessarily have a right to say things. Many people have in their contract what we call a morals clause, right? I think it's time for this to be a crackdown on people. So he's somehow subtly, conditioning the use of freedom. Yes, freedom in general is good on the whole. That's a very beautiful idea, but don't forget that you cannot use it, as you want. It's very, ruled, and there are regulations, there are contracts, there are clauses on the contract, and you cannot really apply it as you want, talking about everything you want, criticizing any action of government or politicians. No, you cannot do that. You have the obligations. So you have the obligation of shut up, shut your mouth up completely. That's the idea. Very subtly, delicately, step by step, they are coming, sneaking in the freedoms of the people, of the society, and getting them away, getting them off these rights, the rights of freedom. We shouldn't forget that right now, on behalf of fighting the illegal immigration, Trump administration started with that. So they created a force called ICE, and ICE became a force of repression. So it's not question of immigration, illegal immigration. They are now acting as a extremely violent repressive force. It's a question of law enforcement, but they are, without any doubt, I can tell you, ICE is becoming an unlawful enforcement. It's not law enforcement, it's unlawful enforcement, which means that they can do anything they want, right? Against the law, extrajudicial, unlawfulness. So nobody is there to ask for any account or report about what they are doing. Today, for example, look what's going on. We have the kind of occupation of Portland by the federal forces. President is sending there the troops with the authorization of the use of full force, which means anything, any method, any degree of violence, full force, right? So we don't know why, what was happening in Portland, but it's not important. What is important is to make this invasion and occupation of the different cities and states ordinary, acceptable, something routine. So they started in Washington, D.C., then Los Angeles, then Chicago, and now Portland. And then you will see at a specific moment of this process, the whole country will be occupied, will be invaded by the federal government, by the army, by the unlawful forces over the country. Right now, the behavior of ICE is telling us that we should wait for more and more violence. I said more and more because society must get used to that, right? That's the idea of the banality. That's the idea of trivialization of evil or unlawful act. These kind of act become, we can say, trivial, ordinary, routine, acceptable, daily. Look, I saw a post here says that federal ICE thought on top of the Broadview, Illinois federal building roof are shooting non-lethal rounds, including pepper balls on tear gas and at protesters, and the media who pose no threat behind a locked defense. And I would like to show you the videos. Just look at the degree of the violence that they are using. It didn't start like that, but right now we can see how to them it's something completely ordinary. They can do whatever they want, and look at this image. So you see how they are shooting at the people just on the body of this person, you can see what they did. That's the idea of trivialization. That's the idea of banalization of things. We are getting used to see this kind of action, illegal action. The citizens are getting shot by ICE, for no reason, right? And this is becoming something that's happening almost every day, everywhere, and without any accountability. They don't have to report, they don't have to answer to any question, and as you can see, they can shoot anyone, any citizen. They have already killed a few people, and they are authorized. And as you can see now in Portland, they are authorized to use the full force, right? That's it. The banality of evil, the banalization of unacceptable, making unacceptable acceptable, ordinary, trivial. This is what they are doing. This is what they want to do. And step by step, they are establishing the violence, in the city, in the normal life of the people, in such a way that we must be waiting for a violent action at any moment, anywhere in our daily life. Let me show you another videos and look at the extent of violence in what is happening here. This kind of image is getting more and more normal in the American cities, across the different states, going after the people and arresting them with any method they want, with any degree of violence they want. They have their face masked. They are fully equipped, as you can see. We don't know who they are. We suppose that they are the human beings, but they are not robots, okay? They are not Robocop, but we don't know who they are. We don't know if they are American, if they are IDF, they are what exactly. We don't know, but we are getting used to this kind of image. So this is how, based on our experience, because we have this experience in our country, Iran, we know how they get the freedom killed, right? Step by step, progressively, subtly, day after day, with a little violence, then a little more, and finally with a huge amount of violence in an institutional way. And don't forget that freedom is not something that is guaranteed for anyone, right? Freedom is something that we fought to take, to have, and then it's very necessary, it's absolutely necessary to fight to keep it. Don't forget that freedom is not given. Freedom is always taken. And once you have it, once you took it, you have to preserve it. You have to protect it. Otherwise, the enemies of freedom that are a lot come to it and take it away. They steal your freedom by violence. And this violence that is getting banalized, getting banal in the United States, getting trivialized in the United States right now, it's going toward a very, very bad outcome. I am pretty sure that if there is no a real resistance by the civil society, by the American civil society, against this normalization of violence, we will have an authoritarianism established institutionally in the United States very soon, very soon. In 1 year, you won't have you won't have anything that you can call American democracy. There wouldn't be any democracy at all. So don't forget that there is an imminent risk, and based on the experience of the non-American like us, you, the Americans, you can think about how serious is this matter, and in order to defend what is one of the historical characteristic of the United States, which means freedom, right? The First Amendment, essentially, and other kinds of freedom. You have to fight for that. Otherwise, you can be sure what we can see here as a process is the process of getting your freedom completely out, thanks to the violence first targeted toward the so-called illegal immigrants, but you saw that after a few months they added to the list now Antifa. Who are the Antifa? Antifa is not an organization, it's a movement, it's an idea, but under this label they can do whatever they want, right? They can shoot people, they can arrest the people, they can exercise any kind of violence. And don't forget that this is a process, and this process from the beginning we can see where it's making for, right? Where it's leading to. So if you are not attentive, if you are not active, if you are not proactive regarding that, you should be worried seriously about the future of freedom, the future of democracy in the United States. So that's why in my previous presentation, I invited anyone, any citizen, to organize themselves as the social power. You remember we said that social power is the utmost, is the most important form of power, mainly in a democracy, right? So that's why the citizens have to be organized to protect the freedom, not to leave the violence becoming ordinary, trivial, acceptable, banal, and put an end to this exercise. Don't forget the planned exercise of violence. As we know, they got the control of the power at the top. So they have a kind of feeling of immunity regarding whatever they want to do to the United States, and that's why if the citizens are not aware of are not active, they will lose for sure. The Americans for sure will lose their freedom. And don't forget that that's the particularity of other countries. Also, we got the news of George Galloway, the former deputy, former MP of the UK Parliament being arrested, right? And we know that the reason for which is because George Galloway is right now very active in the defense of Palestinians against the Israeli genocide in Gaza. And that's why, as you can see, everywhere the enemies of freedom are very active. And if the citizens, if the civil society, if the civil organizations, social organizations are not active enough, you can be sure that totalitarianism is coming, is establishing themselves in United Kingdom, the United States, and elsewhere. Be aware that the Zionist network is very active right now because Israel is, as Ilan Pappé says, on the brink of collapse, and they want just to sink the boat with itself. This is what the Zionism is organizing. We must be very attentive about that. We must be very active about that. Otherwise, not only the future of democracy, but the future of the humanity is at risk. Thank you very much for watching this video.